As Spooktober comes to an end, we must, too, end the season. But with a bang! Welcome back to Top 5 Gaming, where today we'll be hitting dongers. No. Today we'll be going on a nature walk in Fortnite. The breeze slowly blew as the crisp leaves shimmered in the wind. The green fields of Fortnite were all but okay, I'm bored. We need some plot development here. And then some guy hit the most ridiculous trick shot of 2019 on a quad. Then he hit hype, and Blondie joined in and hit the default dance. That's enough of that. Today we're doing the top 5 scary Fortnite Easter eggs that you never knew existed. They're pretty scary, man, let me tell you. Well, at least I think so. With that said, it's time to get into it. Number 5 is the teddy bear staring at the mirror. Whenever you watch a horror film and see someone looking into a mirror, you can always expect a jump scene right around the corner. Guy closes the mirror door and something's staring back at him from behind. It's your classic horror scene. Perhaps that's why this recently discovered room gives us the creeps. If you head on over to Wailing Woods, you can see 4 cabins spread around the center bunker. Go to East Cabin and head down into the bunker. Usually these areas have pretty obvious secret rooms with open doors hidden by a cupboard. But this bunker has a completely closed off area. Head over to the west wall where you'll find a cupboard next to a washing machine and break down one of the 2 walls. Behind it, you'll find no loot, but just a teddy bear sitting on the floor staring at a mirror on the opposite wall. It's that classic creepy scene that's made even more weird by the location. Is he a prisoner? Who set this up? Or maybe Epic Games are just messing around with us. It definitely seems like there may be more to these teddies than meets the eye. And as we go further down the list, you may begin to believe in a teddy conspiracy within Fortnite. Number 4 is the It Clown. Being a clown in this day and age must be one of the toughest jobs going. You got a fair amount of people that enjoy the circus act, but then a vast amount that would rather shake hands with a ghost than meet a clown face to face. The film It definitely didn't help that reputation and scared millions across the globe. The classic scene from both the original and modern versions of the film were brought to Fortnite through a small Easter egg. In this scene, one of the main characters is chasing his boat as it flows down the street and into a drain in which he encounters It. Epic Games didn't exactly add a clown in the drain, but rather a few balloons attached to the drain at the gas station in Greasy Grove. On Fortnite Battle Royale's first birthday, they added cakes and balloons all around the map, and every set of balloons would be tied to the top of a tree or rock. But these balloons were the only set attached to the ground and drain of all places. You can be pretty sure it's a direct reference to that classic scene from Stephen King's It. Number 3 is the Loch Ness Monster, or skeleton of something. With the cube melting into Loot Lake, tearing it apart and denying the laws of physics altogether, it's unearthed a few clues to possible things we may be seeing in the future, and may even relay back to Fortnite's history. Underneath the island, you can see a large skeleton sticking out from the rock. Perhaps this could be the long-lost Loch Ness Monster. On top of one of the floating islands, you can also find a smaller version of the same skeleton, so we know there were a lot more of these back before our time. But it might be possible a few, or at least one, may have survived. We've also seen items like the tomato head travel back and forth through time, so it wouldn't be a stretch if Epic just bought a creature through that way. The possibility of dinosaurs is also pretty high. On top of the northeast floating island, you can see the purple remains of a dinosaur statue. These were only discovered in the lake after it had been ripped from the ground, but the purple statue is actually the same model as one of the 3 dinosaur statues that you can find in the desert. Bit of a coincidence? It seems possible that the people who lived here previously knew about the skeletal remains and had their own recreations before they somehow sunk into Loot Lake. Fortnite's storyline is constantly giving us clues, and we can only speculate as to what we may be seeing with these dinosaur and monster-looking remains. If you have any guesses or know anything we may have missed, let us know in the comments, and hopefully someone might be able to connect all the dots. Number 2 is the teddy bear ritual with scarecrows. Let the conspiracies begin. First we had the superheroes and villains, which turned out to just be for a film, but an actual guy fell from outer space and set off a rocket. Then you have time travel, teleporting through rifts, and government research labs. But now we have teddy bears and scarecrows possibly taking over. I'm starting to think that H2O Delirious has been having words with Epic Games. These teddy bears were just a few at first, spread out through the island, but with the Halloween update, we can be sure that they've taken over Fatal Fields. Both the barns have been turned into a haunted house-style building that you might see at any fairground, but go into the cornfields and it starts to get a little bit creepy. The west field has a few scarecrows, which seems normal except for one buried up to his head in the ground. Bit strange, but if you go to the east field, the teddies and scarecrows seem to be acting a little suspicious. The scarecrows let off the same audio you hear from someone T-posing and have glowing red eyes. In one area of the field, you can find a whole group of 8 scarecrows encircled around one teddy bear. I'm not sure if this is some demonic ritual or a group hug, but it's definitely sinister looking. When you go over to the main house, you can find every room contains at least one teddy bear, each wearing a bizarre looking pumpkin head. It almost looks like the teddy bears own the house and the scarecrows own the field. Maybe they're at war, and it seems like the scarecrows have captured one of the enemies. We can be fairly certain we know what'll happen to this teddy, though, as you can see a previous captive buried in the graveyard barely 6 feet away. I wonder what Epic Games has in store for this side of the story. Honorable mention, the Upside Down House. One of the more interesting map features that we've had recently is rooms and buildings having some unique layouts with beds and chests hanging onto walls. But one of the new buildings stands out that little bit more. I don't exactly know what the architect was thinking, but I suppose it's unique. In the very same field as all the scarecrows and the captured teddy bears, you can find a small shack-looking house, except everything inside is upside down. Even the teddy sitting in the cupboard is still sitting upside down. Now the thing is, it might seem like a random building Fortnite thought would look cool, right? But then if you head into the main house at Fatal Fields, it begins to look like the teddy bears may have some spooky magical powers. You can even find evil grinning teddies littering the whole building, with each room having its furniture displayed as if some telekinetic power. If they're the ones behind it, then it would explain the upside down building, although what do you think it would mean? They do love to give us clues to future events, and perhaps this could be one. Just imagine if a parallel island opened through the portal, an upside-down island from the dark world floating above our own. Honorable mention number 2 is the disappearing teddy bear. As far as Easter eggs go in Fortnite, they all seem to be pretty much visual. They don't really have zombie-style Easter eggs, which involve activating secret buttons or shooting specific objects. It would be pretty cool to see some hidden Easter eggs that could be activated in some secret way, and for all we know, there may be some we just haven't discovered yet. The closest we've probably seen so far is the disappearing teddy bear located over at the soccer stadium. Head on into the garage and you can find a teddy in the driver's seat of the car. Now, quite a few people have reported witnessing this teddy bear's disappearing without doing anything to it. They don't know what they did at the time to trigger it, but somehow this teddy would mysteriously vanish for some players. Once again, adding more evidence to the teddies having magical powers. We've tried to figure it out ourselves, but without success. But what do you think about this disappearing teddy bear? Is it an unsolved Easter egg or possibly a glitch? You never know with Easter eggs. Sometimes it can be a small, irrelevant looking thing that turns out to be insanely important and doesn't get figured out until years later. So is it canon? Number 1, an important meeting. So it seems like we've found the secret meeting point for the head leaders from all the local Fortnite gangs. Okay, so it's not so secret considering it's been around since day 1, but it's definitely starting to make more sense. If you head up to Risky Reels and just past the 2 houses to the east, you'll find a circle of chairs with a chest location. But when you're not focused on grabbing a gun, you might notice a pretty odd-looking meetup. I know the teddy bear has always been there, but we're not sure if the scarecrow was added after. However, the gargoyle is definitely a recent addition. We can't be sure as to what's going on here, but it's not exactly innocent looking. Perhaps it's the world leaders of Battle Royale Island all deciding their next plan to take over. Or perhaps it's just Epic Games creating a funny little scene out in the middle of nowhere, which seems unlikely. We thought it was just the teddies and the scarecrows, but this secret meeting makes it look like the gargoyles are in the league with them too. If you happen to see any suspicious behavior from these 3 creatures, then let us know. But these creatures are tiny and could be hiding anywhere on the Battle Royale Island. The more we find, the more we can try and figure out their plan. But click that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Push notifications on. Let us know in the comments below if you guys would like us to do a V-Bucks giveaway. We're thinking about it, but we need to hear that you guys want it. Click that like button. We hope you have a wonderful day. Keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.